In early 2025, a provocative idea resurfaced in American politics. Donald Trump, newly re-elected, began floating a bold claim: Canada should become the 51st state. His rhetoric, part jest, part threat, has ignited debates, strained relations, and raised a pressing question. What drives this obsession with taking over Canada? This is a story of economics, strategy, and one man's unrelenting vision. Since his return to the White House, Trump has intensified this narrative, often speaking at rallies and posting on social media about Canada's supposed burdens on the U.S. economy. At the heart of Trump's fixation lies Canada's economic treasure: critical minerals. Lithium, nickel, cobalt, these are the building blocks of modern technology, from electric vehicles to renewable energy systems like wind turbines and solar panels. Canada holds vast reserves, a resource the United States covets as it races to secure its supply chains amid global competition with nations like China. In February 2025, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau suggested Trump's interest stems from this mineral wealth, an economic prize too valuable to ignore. For instance, Canada's northern territories are rich in rare earth elements, crucial for advanced weaponry and tech innovation, making this a high-stakes game of resource control. Then there's trade. Trump has long claimed the U.S. suffers a $200 billion deficit with Canada, framing it as an economic injustice that costs American jobs. Yet official data tells a different story. In 2023, the goods trade deficit was $67.9 billion, a fraction of his assertion, while services often tilt the balance closer to even. Total trade reached $923 billion, with Canada as America's top export market, buying more U.S. goods than China and Japan combined. Is this a genuine grievance, or a calculated exaggeration to justify his rhetoric? Economists argue it's interdependence, not exploitation, as Canada supplies oil and auto parts vital to U.S. industries. Beyond economics, geography plays a role. Canada shares the world's longest undefended border with the U.S., stretching over 5,500 miles from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Its Arctic territories hold untapped potential, new shipping lanes and resources emerging as ice melts due to climate change. Trump, who once eyed Greenland for similar reasons in 2019, sees Canada as a strategic asset. Control here could bolster U.S. dominance in a region contested by Russia and China, both expanding their Arctic presence. Military analysts note the Northwest Passage, a future trade route, could shift global power if secured under U.S. influence. But there's more to this than maps and minerals. Trump's approach reflects his personality, a master of shock tactics and hardball negotiation honed over decades in business and politics. His first term saw tense trade battles with Canada, including the contentious USMCA renegotiation in 2018, and now threats of annexation or 25% tariffs echo that playbook. Some call it political theater, designed to rally his base with visions of American supremacy or pressure Canada into concessions on dairy or lumber. Others see a deeper intent, a zero-sum worldview where America must always win, even at the expense of allies. Canada, however, is no passive player. Public sentiment has hardened, with a surge of patriotism sweeping the nation in 2025, fueled by social media campaigns and protests against Trump's remarks. Leaders like Ontario Premier Doug Ford have dismissed Trump's ideas outright, calling them absurd, while Quebec's Premier vowed cultural resistance. As a sovereign state with NATO ties, a robust economy, and a population of 40 million, Canada shows no appetite for statehood. The reality is clear: annexation is a fantasy, not a policy, rooted more in rhetoric than practicality. So why does Trump persist? His obsession blends economic greed, strategic calculation, and personal bravado, an explosive mix with real consequences. Tariffs loom, relations strain, and the stakes rise for two nations bound by history, trade, and a shared continent. Whether a serious plan or a provocative bluff, Trump's Canada fixation reveals a broader truth: in his eyes, no border is too sacred to challenge. The question remains: how far will he push? And what will it mean for North America's future?